Alright guys, welcome back to another killer video for today, and this is gonna be the second one I upload today or the first one? I don't know. But either way, there's gonna be two today. And today I have a really fun trapper build for you guys. Now, I had a trapper challenge, as you guys probably are gonna see. So I decided, you know what, yeah, let's play some trapper. I love playing trapper, as most of you know. I used to be trapper main. And this is a build I just really love running. Agitation and play with the food. I love these perks. They're super finicky, super situational, but they're really fun when they work. So let's get straight into it. First up, we have play with your food. So every time I lose my obsession, I'll become a little bit faster. Agitation, so that whenever I'm carrying someone, I'll move a little bit faster. Save best for last, so that whenever I hit my non-obsessions, I'll be hitting people a little bit faster. So as you can tell, this is a build about doing things real quick. We have barbecue and chili, mostly just for the blood points, but I do use it a little bit for the aura reading. Now, as you can probably tell, I'm going to be doing an analysis of a game today, if I didn't already mention that. And for add-ons, well, we're going to be using what we always do. And I'm really just going to show you guys how you can really control how the game goes by just getting insane amounts of map pressure thanks to trapping in just one general area. So let's get right into it. Alright, so sorry if you hear a little bit of, yeah, that right there. So first things first, we spawn in on Disturbed Ward. This is a really difficult map. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set a trap in a nearby loop and go pick up a trap that I see nearby. Now, after I pick up this trap, this is when I'm going to want to determine what side of the map I'm going to try and defend. So that's where you're going to see me looking around here a little bit. And I'm going to end up settling on this back area of the map near the Killer Shack. I think it's probably the best area to defend with the layout I got for generators. So since I'm going to set up near the Killer Shack, I'll start trapping it up a little bit. This is a super standard trap, and it's a really strong one. You just put it in the grass right next to that wall right there, and survivors run into it a lot. And I actually ended up deciding to double trap the Killer Shack here. And I put it crucially in this plant so that it's really hard to see, not only from the side I trapped it from, but the other side as well, and you'll see why in the future. Now I go to set this trap. This is where you want to trap TL walls usually, and I hear the generator to my left, so I'll pick up this trap and go look for the survivor nearby. Now, I do actually think I ended up committing a little bit too long to looking for him, but it's alright. I check this little corner. If somebody's in there, I can trap them in there and get a one-shot, basically. But I do just end up looking around, giving the loop a quick glance. Okay, and at this point, it's going to kick the generator and be on my merry way. Whoops, I almost dropped my controller. Now, this is a really good trap right here, particularly because these boxes to the left, it makes a really tight choke point. And at this point, I started listening, and I think I hear someone injured, well, there is metal in man, so someone is injured. I opened the locker, but it turns out they were hiding behind it, and I just barely end up getting that hit, which is fantastic for me. Now, I want to get in chase of this way to see if he's the obsession. I hear that that high-pitched noise, and I know that he's my obsession, so I'll get in the chase with him, and immediately turn around so I can lose my play with the food sack. Or sorry, game I play with the food sack. Now my objective here is to try and get another chase with him while I'm carrying a survivor so that I can lose him again and get another stack. Unfortunately, he runs away, but then he runs right back into me and gives me another stack for free, which is awesome. Now I'm going to leave this guy basically completely undefended on the hook. I don't really care about him. He's in an area of the map that I don't really want to defend, so I'm going to come back over here with my 10% extra movement speed and pressure someone else. Now, so Ace is running exactly where I want him to, the Killer Shack. So right here, I'm going to take the long way around to force him back towards that trap that we set earlier, and that's an easy down for me. Now, they do a generator that I wanted to hold on to, which really sucks for me, but this is where I'm going to start really putting pressure on the map. As a trapper, you're going to lose generators really early on if you don't have something like Corrupt Intervention to prevent early gen progress. So, you're just going to have to play really well, essentially. I go ahead and hook him in this back area near where my hooks are, and you do want to hook people in the area around your traps as much as possible. I meant traps, not hooks. I reset that trap right there because it might come in handy later on, especially if I can pressure somebody off this unhook so he doesn't get to undo it. And I hear this Fang, and thankfully she gives me a really easy down there. I did hear her grass. If you go back, you can probably hear it, maybe, if I'm not talking over it. And I go ahead and trap her back here where I already have two traps set up. Like I said before, you wanna hook people where you have traps set up. Barbecue lets me know someone's upstairs in the building. I'm not gonna worry about him too much. I'll go for down here on the Jake because he's just kind of doing nothing. And this guy seemed like he wanted to go straight for the trap to pop it, but instead what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and chase him, make sure he can't pop it. And he actually gets really greedy here and doesn't actually manage to get that unhook in time. Now that I know that he's definitely going to be coming back to set off my trap as quickly as possible, I'll keep that in mind. And I do want to come pick up this Jake. I saw he had Tenacity before, so I'm expecting Tenacity, Unbreakable, and maybe even Soul Guard. So I'll try and pick him up before he can get too far away and pick himself up with Unbreakable. So, and in the meantime, I know that somebody's going to be running back to pick up the Ace. I see scratch marks on the ground here leading towards the Killer Shack, and this is where I'm in a beautiful spot. I'll set a trap here. This is just a trap to bait people into running away from the pallet, which will make this droid step into this trap, which is wonderful. He's my obsession, meaning I don't lose any stacks by picking him up out of the trap, and I can go ahead and go for a hook on him. Now I see that this Ace is running back towards the unhook as well. He actually ends up messing up really bad, and I get a hit. Thanks to Save the Best for Last, I managed to get 2 extra hits on the before hooking this guy, and I still get the quicker recovery to get him off to put him on the hook. Now I actually end up missing the Jake. I didn't see him before, but thankfully he runs back into me after his borrowed time, despite his borrowed time. And thanks to Playthrough for giving me a stack here. It allows me to catch up to this thing pretty quickly. And I'm not gonna bother kicking the pallet because this pallet's gonna be really helpful to me later on. I knew she was gonna run straight for the trap, and it puts me in a good spot. Now, crucially, the Ace does pop the trap behind me, and something I'm going to keep in mind. I'll get in chase with the Dwight here, just so I can get the quicker movement speed. And now I knew this Jake had Unbreakable. That's why I kept hovering around him. And here I was actually expecting Soul Guard, which would make it so that if I hit him right now, he would just get a borrowed time like effect. So I'm going to wait out the 8 seconds that Soul Guard usually is, then I'll go for a hit on him. And at this point, this guy's decisives probably run out, and I'll be able to hook him, go for a kill on him really early on. Or, I mean, not necessarily early on, but get a kill on him, which will be really solid for me. It'll take a lot of pressure off me and put a lot of pressure on them. A little bit of trouble there hooking him, but, you know, it happens. Now, I'm going to pick up this trap because I don't really plan on coming back to this area anytime soon, and Barbecue and Chili lets me know that those guys were back by where the Fang went down earlier. Now I see where this Ace is, and he definitely feels confident running the Killer Shack now. He knows both traps that he saw are currently disarmed, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to reset this trap to force him to run towards the pallet. And ideally, he drops the pallet here, which is exactly what he does, and I'm going to go ahead and vault here so he runs around the Killer Shack, and he runs right into my trap. That's why I made sure to put this trap in the plant so that you couldn't see it from either angle. I'm going to go ahead and pick up this trap and reset it, because if I reset it where it was before, it wouldn't actually get anybody, unfortunately. And I'll pick up this trap and keep it in hand. Now, at this point, I actually don't remember if the Ace is dead or not, but I'm going to go ahead and... No, he's not dead, of course not. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put him on this back hook, and I'm going to do something that's massive brain right here. I know this guy is going to see me. He's been paying attention to where I've been trapping, so I'll go ahead. Actually, was trying to pick up this trap. I didn't realize I had it in my hand, but I'm going to go ahead and trap this window. I know that he knows that I'm going to be trapping this window, but essentially what this is going to do later on is it's going to force him into a bad spot because I'm going to retrap this as well. Now, I'm cutting off any angle he has if he wants to run towards his backside of the pallet. Or, sorry, the loop. Now, I go to find the Dwight, but I end up hearing the Fang again. When you're walking through grass, it's really easy for killers to hear you if you're paying attention. Thankfully, Save the Best for Last allows me to get really quick hits here. I get 3 hits in like 2 seconds. And this Ace ends up running into a really bad spot, and that puts me in a great position. He knew he had to run to a loop because I have Saved the Best for Last, which would allow me to get down on him if he runs anywhere else. But since I had trapped up the area that he ran to, which was the nearest loop, it made it so that he really had no real options there. Now I'll go ahead and get a hook on this Fang, and I'm going to, again, keep hooking them in this back area where all my traps are. I want to make sure that this area is as deadly as possible. I'm going to leave the Ace on the ground for now because I know that he might have Decisive Strike, and I see the Dwight upstairs. My plan here was to try and big brain him by trapping here and then going around. I don't really know what I was thinking in this moment. Aside from that, but make a weird decision here. Trap, I don't actually end up walking through it, but I still end up walking in front of me. It was a bit of a mistake here, but at this point in the game, I'm not too worried about it. Now I'm going to look for the Dwight up here, and I wasn't expecting to head on, honestly. I hadn't really gotten into chase with this Dwight before, so I didn't know if he had quick and quiet, if he had head on, whatever he did have. He gets out he gets out with quick and quiet, so he makes no noise, and I actually ended up swinging here and missing on purpose, hoping that he'll run back into the building off of it. But unfortunately, he didn't run back into the building. He saw my trap before he would run back in, so I ended up not being able to get the down on him. But of course, Save the Best for Last allows me to recover really quickly, and I get to get these 3 hits in very quick succession, ending the game right here. Now, as you guys saw right there, I just did a really solid job of consistently putting map pressure on these guys, making sure that they didn't have an easy time at any opportunity in the game aside from the very beginning. And as I said before, as Trapper, you're gonna have to get used to losing a lot of generators early on. That's just simply how the game works for this killer, unfortunately. He's a setup killer, so it's a big commitment to play a killer like him or Hag, because you are going to lose generators early, and it's not going to be an easy game if survivors are smart. But thankfully, as you guys saw, I set some great traps that really caught them off guard, and by forcing them to stay in the area I wanted to, and by making use of play with their food and agitation whenever I needed to, it really let me get some pretty good downs in this game. Speaking of agitation value, here we go. This guy tried crawling really far away from any available hooks, but agitation means I don't have to worry about that at all. I can easily get to the nearest hook to him to get a hook on him. This is honestly a big part of why I love Trapper. This setting up paid off so well in the end. I lost 3 generators immediately. It made it so that I had to play perfectly later on to try and make sure I get this win. And thanks to my careful planning and just my good predictions, it allowed me to get so many downs in such quick succession that they had very little chance to try and get anything at all, really. Well, anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this analysis, and I'll see you in the next one.